As things are shaping up, in about a decade or so the face of aviation, be it civilian or military, will forever change. The rise to power of vertical takeoff and landing machines, the arrival of new aircraft and helicopter designs, and an accelerated research into the creation of new powertrains, they all work for reshaping aviation. As it does in other fields as well, DARPA is at the forefront of this push. The organization is presently engaged in a large number of projects intended to advance flight technologies, but of interest to us today is something called the Speed and Runway Independent Technologies, or SPRINT program. The initiative was announced back in 2023, and its stated goal is to come up with an experimental aircraft packed to the teeth with technologies and concepts that should allow a machine to take off and land with no need for runways, but also fly at aircraft speeds. The experimental aircraft part means the thing will not be a production machine, but merely a demonstrator, while not needing a runway translates into it actually being a VTOL. As far as speeds are concerned, think about 518 miles per hour, which is faster than all drones and helicopters in existence. Earlier in 2024, DARPA settled on the companies who will be working on the SPRINT program. In the first phase of the program, they are Bell Textron, Northrop Grumman, Piasecki Aircraft Corporation, and Aurora Flight Sciences, a company that's been around since 1989 and was acquired by Boeing in 2017. Aurora was the first company of this pack to give us a glimpse of the project it is working on, and it did so in the spring of this year. Now, a few months later, new renderings of the aircraft have made their way under the spotlight, giving us more insight into what to expect. Aurora's SPRINT aircraft is for all intents and purposes a fan and wing design, meaning it comes with lift propellers installed inside a blended wing body. Looking like a stealth aircraft from years ago, and, by all accounts, it is stealth. It is meant to lift off and land vertically, travel at aircraft speeds, and reach undisclosed altitudes while carrying a payload on par with what fixed-wing airplanes are capable of carrying. The initial Aurora design relies on 3 lift fans that are surrounded by a composite body. At least in its initial iteration, it won't be able to accommodate a crew, but it will be able to make a seamless transition from vertical to horizontal flight. The current version is a demonstrator with a wingspan of 45 feet and capable of lifting 1,000 pounds. Later down the line, because the fan and wing is scalable, up to 4 fans could be included in there, and that should increase the capabilities of the aircraft. The wingspan could increase to a total of 130 feet, and the payload capacity could shoot up significantly. This version could be crewed, and even used to carry soldiers. Up until this week we had no idea what kind of powertrain Aurora's design would use, but along with the new renderings, some details about that were released as well. The company says it is envisioning the use of off-the-shelf turbofan and turboshaft engines, without going into details. The project is fairly advanced over at Aurora. The company already conducted ground effect tests using a model with a wingspan of only 4.6 feet and 3 lift fans. The procedures showed that suckdown effects created by the lift fans in hover were negligible, and that the landing gear is set to the appropriate height to minimize adverse pitching moments. Even if 2024 is about to end, Aurora says it plans to conduct wind tunnel tests by the end of the year and move on to a stability and control test in early 2025. This will be done using a 9-feet wingspan model of the aircraft. DARPA's SPRINT program will end Phase 1 in May 2025, while the preliminary design review is expected to take place a month earlier. We don't have yet many details on what the other companies involved in this effort are working on. Yet, given how DARPA intends to begin a flight test program for the tech in 2027, it probably won't be all that long until we get wind of those as well. As for Aurora, it's likely we'll hear more about it in relation to other programs as well. The company is, for instance, part of the Control of Revolutionary Aircraft with Novel Effectors, or CRANE, another DARPA effort meant to deliver a plane with no control surfaces and diamond-shaped wings. It is also involved in the Liberty Lifter, which aims to find a ground effect aircraft for the transport of military gear, soldiers, and supplies.